Hey guys, GoldTheWriter here, and welcome to a bit of a different episode on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Today, I am talking about the Legacy of the First Blade, Episode 2, Shadow Heritage. Now, before I start, I do want to give a huge spoiler warning. I will be talking about the ending of the DLC. So if you don't want anything spoiled for you, go and play the DLC and then come back. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the ending. So, I've seen a lot of people upset with the fact that at the end of the game, you have a child with the descendant of Darius. And I played as Alexios, and I felt like that scene kind of fit, and it's not that bad. However, it is bad in the context of this being in the context of the overall storyline. It actually, in my opinion, completely destroys the narrative of the game. Because you see, I played through this episode early because I thought that there was going to be an armor set that you could use that would increase your rapid fire or something like that. I thought that there would be an armor set that I could show to you guys, and that could have made for a good video. But no, there's no armor set. You get two weapons, one that adds healing during parry, and one that adds 20% damage to the rapid fire ability, which I'm not a big fan of, and so neither weapon really appeals to me at all, and that's literally all you get out of this DLC as far as items go. But, like I said, I rushed through this so that I could beat it, and I could show you guys the new set that didn't end up being there. And because of that, I had to play through this DLC while I am still going through the storyline, because unlike most people, I still have not beaten the main story. And what this has done has caused a terrible rift between the storyline of the DLC and the story that you're progressively making. Because in the DLC, you settle down. That's the whole point. You settle down, you're done with the mercenary work, you even promised your significant other that this is your new lifestyle and that you aren't going back to the way things were. However, immediately after the DLC concludes, you basically just have to put your armor back on and go about your day as a mercenary again. And it contradicts everything that this story was built up to be. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the idea of Alexios eventually settling down and having a family. That is a great story arc. The problem is, you didn't establish this as, like, in the future, or at the end, or anything like that. And the only way that this story comes across as a good story that makes sense is if you play this DLC only after you have 100%ed the game. And that to me is ridiculous. So now, here I am, a mercenary, despite the wishes of my significant other. And not only that, I'm a mercenary that is abandoning my child and wife just to go and do more mercenary work. And it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. Why do you have this whole thing of, you know, oh, we're gonna settle down, we're gonna have a family, we're just gonna be normal people, if you're then gonna let me just go right back to doing my daily quests and doing my mercenary work and trying to figure out what's going on with my family? It just gets rid of anything that would have happened. And not only that, the episode ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, which, by the way, they spoiled in the trailer for it. They spoiled in the trailer. They show the house that you end up having burning down, despite that clearly being something that happens in episode 3. Because episode 2 ends with you settling in that house, and the Persians coming up and being like, send the fleet, send everyone. But regardless, this doesn't feel like something that should be happening a few weeks from now. This feels like something that you should have happening right after these events. But no, because of the episodic story style, you get to go and run around and be a mercenary for forgetting your entire family and completely just ignoring their existence until the storyline comes back up, and then, oh, by the way, I'm a great father again. It makes no sense. Now, there is other things that have done this that have done it well. Spider-Man, for example, had a DLC where each one took place after the other one. I believe you could play these before finishing the main storyline, but what they did is they had them as separate entities. Now, I'm not saying you have to full-on make this a different world or anything like that, but the very least you could do is preface it with, 10 years later or something like that. Any kind of indication that this takes place after what we've been playing through. Because as it stands right now, this happens in my game during the middle of the cultists, during the middle of the family arc. I'm about to go into the Olympics, and it just makes no sense because I actively take an entire year out of my life to have this baby and then immediately abandon it. And, you can say, I like this story, but I hate how it works in the confines of the game, because there is no divider between this storyline and the main storyline. And all that does is take any impact out of the storyline, which I still think was really good. It just turns it into nothing. And a lot of people have been saying it, and it's kind of messed up, but really the only way that this could make sense with the final episode is if the next episode...
I've always dreamed of coming here.
Yes, Alexios. The only way this could end up making sense is if in the next episode, at the start of the episode, your child and wife are murdered, and it becomes a revenge story. Because despite me never having beaten the family story arc, I have beaten the Atlantis story arc. So I know that your character becomes immortal. And a lot of people brought up this fact that it makes no sense in the confines of you being immortal that you settled down and had a kid. And not only that, that you became immortal and then just watched your family die. That makes no sense. So the only way it would make sense that Alexios wouldn't pass it down to someone else or anything like that is his family dies at the beginning of the next episode. And if that happens, okay, I'm on board with that. It will be a really emotional revenge story, and I can get on board with that. And it will make it make sense why he would then kind of lock himself away and, just become the immortal freaking time traveler that he becomes. But as it stands right now, the story is completely fucked, and the overall story of Alexios living on to meet Layla in the modern times makes no sense anymore. But anyways, that is just my thoughts on this episode. Like I said, I did like the story, but it really only works when you are just playing this story. If it is used in the context of the story of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it loses all sense. But anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video and the channel with your friends. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye to be good.